Imagine yourself on a roller coaster, the sun glaring in your eyes as the wind whips through your hair. Laughter from fellow passengers fills the air, adding to the excitement. As the coaster drops, adrenaline surges through your veins, and happiness envelops you. But in an instant, the atmosphere shifts from joyful to terrifying. A passenger, against all odds, is ejected from their seat during a sharp turn, plummeting from a dizzying height. It's hard to fathom such a nightmarish scenario, but the truth is that amusement parks have witnessed even more horrifying incidents throughout their long history. From mechanical failures to human errors, these places of fun and thrill have seen their fair share of tragedies. The next time you buckle up for a roller coaster ride, remember that behind the smiles and screams lie stories of both exhilaration and heartbreak that have unfolded over the years. Number 1. Tyree Sampson. On March 24, 2022, tragedy struck when 14-year-old Tyree Sampson embarked on a fateful outing with his football team to Icon Park in Orlando, USA. The day took a dark turn when the boys decided to brave the Orlando Free Fall, the world's tallest freestanding drop tower, soaring to a daunting height of 131 meters. As the ride's movable section reached its zenith and began its descent, an unimaginable horror unfolded. Tyree slipped out of his seat, plummeting to the ground below. Tragically, the eighth grader's life was instantly extinguished. A subsequent forensic expert report unveiled a chilling revelation. Tyree Sampson's untimely demise was the result of a grave error committed by a park employee. Shockingly, the operator had negligently loosened the safety belt securing Sampson's seat, a dangerous act that was likely undertaken to accommodate patrons weighing over 130 kilograms. The investigation uncovered that the safety belt was almost twice as slack as it should have been, leading to the catastrophic ejection of the young boy during the ride. In the aftermath of this heartbreaking incident, both the Orlando Free Fall and an adjacent attraction, the Orlando Slingshot, were promptly shut down, pending further investigation. The company responsible for designing the ride, Orlando Slingshot, made a solemn announcement, vowing to cease production of this model in the wake of the boy's tragic death, an action fully supported by Icon Park.
Oh, come on! Drop! Please just drop! For love of God!
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, representing Tyree Sampson's grieving father, echoed the sentiments of many, deeming this decision long overdue. Crump emphasized the need for theme parks, their parent companies, and regulatory agencies to redouble their efforts in averting such calamities, underscoring the importance of preventing other families from enduring similar heart-wrenching losses. Sadly, this heart-rending incident is not an isolated case in the United States, shedding light on the critical need for improved safety measures and vigilant oversight in the amusement park industry. Number 2. James Hackamer. On July 9, 2011, tragedy struck at Darien Lake Amusement Park in northern New York, claiming the life of James Hackamer, an Iraq War veteran. This somber incident was preceded by a harrowing chapter in Hackamer's life. In March 2008, while serving in Iraq, his vehicle was struck by a makeshift explosive device, resulting in severe injuries, including the amputation of both his legs. Despite his physical challenges, Hackamer expressed a fervent desire to experience the thrill of a roller coaster ride at Darien Lake. However, park employees encountered insurmountable difficulties in securing a safety belt around them. Consequently, they placed him in the front coach of the ride, assuring him that he could hold on to the barrier in front with his hands in lieu of a safety belt. Tragically, during one of the ride's turns, Hackamer was ejected from his seat on the steel coaster, hurtling through the air at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Miraculously, his children and sister, who were also at the park that day, were not present during the heart-wrenching incident. Instead, Hackamer's nephew, Ashton Luffred, was his companion on the ride. According to Ashton, park employees did not raise objections to the disabled veteran's wish to ride the roller coaster, nor did they ask any questions. James Hackamer's sister, Jody Hackamer, recounted that for that brief moment on the ride, he likely felt the happiest and most normal he had felt in 3.5 years. The subsequent investigation by state authorities concluded that an operator's mistake was the primary cause of this tragedy. Shockingly, the ride was back in operation the same year, leaving many to question the safety measures in place at the park. This heart-wrenching incident serves as a sobering reminder that sometimes, even within the confines of amusement parks, the pursuit of thrills can have devastating consequences. It underscores the critical importance of ensuring the safety and well-being of all patrons, regardless of their physical abilities or challenges. Number 3. Asia Lashen Ferguson. In 2015, a horrifying tragedy unfolded at Six Flags over Georgia Park, where a teenager met a gruesome end on a roller coaster ride. 17-year-old Asia Lashen Ferguson, hailing from Springfield, ventured recklessly into a forbidden zone, ultimately leading to his untimely demise. Disregarding multiple warnings and 2-meter-tall fences, Ferguson breached the safety barriers. It's surmised that he was attempting to retrieve his lost hat, which had fallen from his head while on the ride. Some witnesses, however, suggested a more audacious motive, that he intended to play a dangerous prank on the passing ride's passengers, perhaps by grabbing someone's foot as the coaster soared overhead. Tragically, the consequences were immediate and fatal. A passenger's foot, traveling at a staggering speed of 80 kilometers per hour, struck Ferguson's head with devastating force, resulting in his instant decapitation. Law enforcement authorities ultimately classified the young boy's death as a tragic accident. In a gesture of respect for the Ferguson family, Six Flags decided to temporarily close the roller coaster on the day of the incident. However, the very next day, the coaster resumed its operation, welcoming cheerful visitors to the park. Regrettably, this wasn't the first instance of mishap within the Six Flags network. 2 years prior to this devastating incident, another accident had marred the reputation of the park. These incidents underscore the critical importance of adhering to safety regulations and exercising caution in amusement parks, where a momentary lapse in judgment can lead to irreversible tragedy. Number 4. The Texas Giant Tragedy. In 2013, Rosie Esparza experienced a horrifying and fatal incident while riding the Texas Giant roller coaster at the Six Flags Over Texas amusement park. Even before the ride began, Rosie had expressed concerns about the security of her safety belts. However, an operator reassured her that they were properly secured, and the roller coaster embarked on its fateful journey. As the roller coaster navigated a sharp turn, Esparza's safety belts unexpectedly loosened, sending her hurtling 23 meters into the air. This horrific scene unfolded right before the terrified eyes of her own daughter. Following the incident, Rosie's partially torn body was found entangled around a hinge on the roof of the honky-tonk tunnel. The police promptly launched an investigation, but shockingly, just 2 months later, the ride resumed operation after new restrainers and safety belts were installed. In response, the victim's family filed a lawsuit against Six Flags and Gerstlauer, the roller coaster manufacturer. This led to a complex legal battle as both the park and Gerstlauer sued each other over responsibility for the tragic accident. Eventually, both companies reached an undisclosed agreement with the victim's family. Number 5. The Extreme World Tragedy. Not all amusement park accidents occur on expensive, high-profile rides. Sometimes a simple lack of safety measures can lead to disaster. 12-year-old Tegan Marty had seen a terrifying but thrilling roller coaster called Terminal Velocity on a cable TV show and became determined to experience its backward free fall herself. She convinced her parents to travel all the way from Florida to Extreme World Adventure Park in Wisconsin Dells to fulfill her dream. Terminal Velocity was an unusual ride, where participants were thrown off a height of over 30 meters, equivalent to about 9 stories, into a net without any safety belts. While standing in line, Tegan's mother, Julie Marty, recognized the ride operator as the same person who had praised the supposed safety of Terminal Velocity on the TV show, despite its lack of safety features. Filled with excitement, Tegan's face radiated a wide smile in photographs taken just before the horrific accident. When it was her turn, she climbed to the top, approximately 30 meters above the ground, and jumped. Tragically, the operator mistakenly released her before the safety net was properly in place. Tegan fell directly onto the concrete below, suffering a broken spine and pelvis, head trauma, and numerous other grave injuries. Tegan was rushed to the hospital and remained on a ventilator in critical condition for an extended period. Her injuries included brain swelling, multiple serious spinal and pelvic fractures, and damage to her liver, spleen, and bowels. Doctors even feared that Tegan might remain paralyzed for life. However, Tegan's story took a remarkable turn. Fast forward 17 months, and the 14-year-old returned to Wisconsin to promote the expansion of the hospital that had saved her life. She bravely walked through the hospital halls with the support of a walker, a testament to her remarkable recovery. The ride operator, 33-year-old Charles A. Carnell, faced serious legal consequences. He was charged with first-degree reckless injury, a crime punishable by up to 25 years in prison and a $100,000 fine. Carnell admitted that he had made a critical error by letting go of Tegan before receiving the all-clear signal. This tragic incident underscores the importance of maintaining stringent safety measures in amusement parks, rather than cutting corners to save costs, to ensure the well-being of park visitors. Number 6. Disneyland tragedy. On December 24, 1998, a tragic incident unfolded at Disneyland when a massive metal cleat detached from the hull of the sailing ship Columbia. As it fell, the cleat struck 2 park visitors and 1 Disney employee. Among the injured, 33-year-old Luann Lee Dawson sustained a severe head injury and tragically passed away in the emergency room. This marked the first instance of a death at a Disneyland ride that wasn't attributed to the visitor's actions. Luann suffered 2 grave head injuries and a significant injury to a major blood vessel in his brain. His wife, Lu Wong, also suffered head trauma but survived. Mrs. Wong underwent plastic surgery to address the cuts on the right side of her face. Additionally, a Disneyland employee, Christine Carpenter, sustained a severe leg injury but received appropriate medical care. Subsequent investigations revealed critical safety oversights. The strap designed to secure the metal cleat had been replaced with an unsuitable rope, likely a cost-saving measure. Furthermore, the sailing ship's approach to the dock had been excessively fast, and the inadequate rope couldn't effectively slow down the vessel. Responsibility for this tragic accident was attributed not to the ride operator but to the park's management. In the ensuing legal proceedings, the victim's family was awarded around $25 million in compensation. The Columbia ride has remained out of operation to this day as a somber reminder of the tragic incident. While roller coasters continue to be a central feature of amusement parks, their towering heights also underscore the potential dangers they pose. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the critical importance of stringent safety measures and maintenance to ensure the well-being of park visitors. Number 7. Extreme Coaster. On July 11, 2010, tragedy struck at Blue Bayou Water Park when 21-year-old Lindsay Zeno visited. She chose to ride the Extreme Coaster, which had been operating for about 3 years at that time. However, just minutes into her ride, a horrifying incident occurred. Zeno fell from a height of 9 meters, ultimately succumbing to the trauma she sustained. The exact cause of the accident remained unclear. It was speculated that a faulty safety belt mechanism might have been responsible. According to one witness, Zeno appeared to be trying to secure her safety belt when the coaster made a sharp turn, propelling her into the air. Louisiana State Fire Marshal Butch Browning took swift action by dispatching inspectors from his department to examine the roller coaster. Their findings revealed that all the mechanical parts of the coaster were in their proper places.
Find anything on the ride that failed. There's no visible signs of failure.
And without any evident faults. Nevertheless, in the wake of this tragic incident, the ride was permanently closed, marking a somber chapter in the park's history since August 11, 1996. Number 8. Mini Train. A heart-wrenching tragedy unfolded at the Old Indiana Fun Park when the mini train derailed, overturning and crushing 2 innocent victims beneath its weight. Among the victims were 4-year-old Emily Hunt, who tragically suffered paralysis from the chest down, and her 57-year-old grandmother, Nancy Jones. This horrific catastrophe not only fills one with dread, but also stirs deep anger at the representatives of the Old Indiana Fun Park, who seem to have made every conceivable mistake. Investigations revealed a litany of failures in ensuring safety. The train was traveling well above its projected speed of 19 kilometers per hour, and when the operator attempted to apply the brakes, they failed to respond. It remained unclear whether the brakes were damaged or non-existent. Moreover, most anti-derailment devices had not been installed. The speedometer was non-functional, and the tracks were strewn with debris. Shockingly, it was later disclosed that the safety inspector who had examined the ride twice in the 3 months preceding the accident admitted to being unqualified for the job. Furthermore, park records indicated that the mini train had derailed a staggering 79 times in the 2 months leading up to the tragedy. This was not the first incident marred by safety concerns at Old Indiana Fun Park. In 1996, the park faced fines for 77 violations related to child labor laws. Additionally, reports in the Indianapolis Star highlighted allegations of inhumane treatment of animals, including a tiger. Although the owners of Old Indiana Fun Park acknowledged negligence, they vehemently denied any prior knowledge of the ride's hazardous condition before the accident. Subsequently, they declared bankruptcy, and most of the park's rides were sold at an auction the following year. This grim chapter serves as a stark reminder of the imperative to prioritize safety above all else in amusement parks. Number 9. Big Dipper. The Big Dipper roller coaster accident in Battersea Park in 1972 left an indelible mark on Carolyn Adamsick's memory. She vividly remembers the terror etched on a little girl's face moments before her tragic demise. Carolyn, then a 14-year-old schoolgirl, narrowly escaped the catastrophe, which became one of the deadliest roller coaster accidents in history. Wooden roller coasters like the Big Dipper have gained a reputation as potentially deadly traps due to their rapid wear and the need for constant maintenance. Even the slightest negligence can lead to catastrophic disasters. In this ill-fated incident, disaster struck when the train, carrying 31 passengers, was being hoisted to the start of the ride. The haulage rope broke loose from one of the carriages, causing the mechanism to break down. Carolyn noticed the train operator desperately hitting the brakes, but they failed to respond. Most train carriages failed to navigate a turn, with one of them careening off the rails and crashing into a wooden fence. The train then took a sharp turn, colliding with another train in the boarding zone. In the aftermath of the crash, Carolyn and her friends found themselves stuck in a relatively intact carriage, suspended 15 meters above the ground. Tragically, 5 children lost their lives in this catastrophe, and 13 more sustained severe injuries. The roller coaster was never repaired, and the Battersea Fun Fair was shuttered 2 years later. Each year, amusement parks report around 30,000 accidents resulting in injuries, both minor and severe. Despite the industry's insistence that the odds of sustaining serious injuries on a roller coaster in an average U.S. amusement park are as low as 1 in 16 million, it's essential to remain vigilant. The human element, faulty equipment, or a profit-driven disregard for safety can all lead to deadly consequences. As this story illustrates, the thrill of amusement park rides can quickly turn tragic, underscoring the importance of stringent safety measures and constant vigilance. So do you like roller coaster rides?